Hello everyone and welcome back to page 9 of our album. This is quite a faffy page, so let me take you through what we've got. We have quite a quirky tag. I don't know why I did this, but I built that up and did some cutting on it, so I will take you through how we made that. It's got a pocket with a tag in, a pocket here, it's got some little cards at the top, it's got some fussy cutting, and this envelope has got a little journaling book behind it. So let's put it back together and then I'll work through how we're going to put it all together. I think that one fitted under the front actually. I like that. So let's stand that up and tell you what you need to make it. So first of all we need a new page. Just get a new page. Everything's falling down around me. Okay. So one new page, and then we need a base paper. This is cut from the Exotic Destinations 8x8 papers. I got quite smart with using all of the papers that I've got. I didn't use everything, I have to say. I did have quite a bit left over from starting off with a 12x12 pad and an 8x8 pad, which is what I usually do because I like the little designs on the 8x8 size paper. This base sheet has been made from 8x8 papers, and I don't know if you can see, but there is a join across the middle here, but when the page is built up you won't see that. So I've cut it so that it is 5.5 inches wide by 9.25 inches long, made up from the 8x8 sheet. And then I've cut a tag. Everything's out of order now, so let's just find it. I've got a tag from the 12x12 Tiki Voyager, no that's wrong, Exotic Destinations paper, and I've cut that at 4.5 by 2 inches, trimmed the corners and punched a hole in it. It's not a tag cut out, I've actually cut it out in a tag shape. Then we've got the pocket, and again I've made this up from papers, 12x12 papers, but because we're going to fold the pocket over you're not going to see the join at the back, so I've tried to use bits of paper up as I've gone along. So this pocket is cut from Tiki Voyager, and you can use 12x12 or the 8x8, and it's cut at 4.5 inches wide by 8.25 inches long, and then I've scored it at 3.5 and just slightly over 7, just to allow for that top flap to fold down. And then I've inked it all, cut a semicircle out at the front on the straight edge, and then to cut the envelope corners, I don't use a template, I must admit. I fold the paper over on itself, but I don't press it down, hold the two edges together and just take my scissors and trim, and that ensures that you get both sides of the envelope flap the same, and then it all flattens out again and you'd never know that you've folded it. So that's the pocket that we're going to put on there. And then we have got the beach sign from the 12x12 papers with the leaves, and we're going to trim that down and use the leaves somewhere else, and the beach sign goes down there. And then we have got a large bird card. Where is he? from the 12 by 12 papers. Use whichever cards you fancy. I've varied them in this album, but that sits on a tag, and the tag is 3.5 by 5.5 with the corners trimmed in black, and then I've cut a cream mat which is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then I've ticket trimmed those corners. And then, let me turn my instructions over. I've cut out the giraffe print edging on the 12 by 12 paper and the 8 by 8 paper, the one that's got all of the labels and the passport on. In between one of the tags there is this giraffe trim border. Because I keep everything, I quite like that, and what I've done is threaded it through this little cream tab, and that's cut at 3/4 inch by, I think it's 2.5, let's just measure it, by, yeah, 2.5, and then ticket cut the corners, and then I've just cut 2 slits with my craft knife and threaded that through. And then we've got our book. So that's a piece of craft card cut at 6 by 6, and then it's got 2 photo mats that go on it, and those are cut at 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and the mat I've just folded in half and inked everywhere. And then what have we got? Oh, we've got another piece of Tiki Voyager to go on the back of that tab there. For this tag, I cut out the luggage label, the Travelogue luggage label, out of the 12 by 12 exotic destination sheet. I cut a 2 3/4 by 5.5 mat out of the Island Jewel paper, and then I cut a strip of craft card which is 1/2 inches wide, and a border strip from the exotic location which sits over the top of that craft strip. And then I've put the sticker on there already that we're going to use. I've cut some flowers out from the Island Jewel 8 by 8 papers, and then I've got a little tag that we're going to put at the top here, and a little photo mat which is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then I've ticket cut the corners. And then we've got 1 green tab and 2 eyelets, and I think that's everything. Now I've just got to remember which order we put them all together in and take you through it. So let's move all of these out of the way, and we'll start by putting the base paper and the tag on. So little tag first, that one's going to go onto the base paper, and I'm just going to use some of the vintage seam binding to go through that I'm using all the way through this album, because I've lost my string. I don't know where it's gone. Okay, so that one's going to go up there, and then we're going to put it through the paper before we stick the paper down. So let's take my cropper dial and just punch a hole. And that hole's about 1/2 inch in and about 1/4 inch down. Thread the tag through, and then I'm just going to have it like that, and I'm going to stick those ends down on the back. So just make sure that it's quite flat. You see what I'm doing. So it just hangs over the top of the paper like that, and then turn the paper over and make sure that your ribbon is as flat as you can get it on the back, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of double-sided tape over that to hold it down. 2 strips. Trim off that excess. And turn it over, and then that just sits at the top there. Okay, let's move all these bits. So let's stick that paper down. I've inked all the edges already, all the way round. Ah, there's the giraffe strip. Can you see? This is the 8x8 paper, so it's slightly larger on the 12x12. And I found it because I keep all the little bits that I cut out, and really liked it, so I thought I'd use it. Right, let's just work that glue towards the edges. There's quite a lot there. Let's just work some of that in towards the middle. Wipe my fingers, so I'm trying to be organised. Okay, and stick your paper down, lining it up to the edge that hasn't got the hole punches in, and flatten it down. Okay. Now to cover that join, I've cut a strip that I'm just going to stick over there, and then nobody will know that that paper's joined. So let's just ink it and stick it. And I'm going to butt it up to the edge without the holes on. And just put it on there. That's just cut from the Tiki Voyager paper. Just tidy that up there. And there. Right. Next thing we're going to stick down is the envelope. And turn that round. The envelope's going to sit over there, like that, and we're just going to stick those bottom 2 sides and the bottom down because we want the pocket behind it. So let me just put a bit more ink on here. Oh, another thing I do when I make envelopes is just fold that flat back and then ink the fold. Just gives it a bit more detail. Turn it over and then ink the other way, and it just, you can see the fold then, just gives it an aged look. So we're going to stick double-sided tape up the side to stick the envelope together, and we're going to do it on the front flap. So another challenge, can I peel the backing paper off? First time, so let's have a go. I don't think it's going to work. I'm so not good at doing this. Right, let's have one more go, and then I might have to go off camera and do it. No, it's not happening. Okay, so I've done that. Taken the backing papers off, so fold it over, stick it down. And again, just put your fingers inside, holding those two edges, and just stretch that top paper. Graphic 45 papers are great. There is a bit of give in them, and it just means that you can put something inside without them being pulled tight. Okay, so now we're going to stick that down, and we're going to stick it at an angle, making sure that we don't cover the holes up. So glue on the back. I've only glued up to the fold, not the top flap. Okay, so let's just work that, flatten it down, and then put it at an angle on your paper and stick it down. And then you can use a damp cloth, lightly damp cloth, if you've got glue coming out from underneath your paper, and that just clears it off. Next we're going to add the tag and the beach sign. So let me find it. The beach sign. So the beach sign is going to go down the bottom here. We're going to cut these leaves off, and they're going to be stuck up here, but we're going to keep the flower on. So let me just get my snips. And I'm just going to cut the leaves off and then cut. Ooh, excuse me. But leave the flower on. Oh, excuse me. Got the sneezes. Okay. So that's going to sit over there, and this tag is just going to sit behind it at an angle across the envelope. I'm going to trim it down actually. I'm just going to cut a little bit off the bottom and ink it again. So first let's position the tag where we want it to go. I've put an eyelet on here and just a bit of seam binding on it, and then I want that to sit over the top like that. And we're going to stick that side and that side, and it's going to act as another pocket. So let's turn it over and make sure that I do stick the right sides. And then I'm going to have it going just under the cut on the top of the pocket. So, just like that. And then we've got room to put something under there. And then I'm going to stick the beach sign down. Let's just ink those white edges. And stick it over the top. Make sure it's all stuck. Okay, turn it over and stick it down, and I'm sticking it just to the left of the base paper, over the top like that. So stuck flat, so nothing fits behind it. Okay, next we're going to make the tag, and the tag fits inside the envelope here. So, what have I got? Let's move that out of the way. So for the tag, I've got the black mat, a picture card, a little tab for the bottom, and a cream mat and 2 eyelets. So let's stick that together. Inked all around the card. If I don't flatten this glue down, it always squidges out. Okay, let's get the lizards the right way up. I'm going to just position that under the hole that I've punched about 1/4 of an inch in on this tag. Flatten that down. And then I've left that longer than the tag itself. I'm going to stick it all down and then trim it off. So, a bit of glue down the little strips. Flatten it down, nearly forgot. Okay, and then I'm going to position that underneath the picture card, as near to the centre as I can get. It shouldn't be hard working upside down because the centre is the same whether you're working the right way up or upside down, but I always have a problem. Okay, flatten that off, stick it down, and then trim those little ends off, and then just re-ink where you've cut. Just to finish it off. Make sure that they're stuck down. Turn it over and put your cream mat on the back. You really don't need much of this tacky glue, it's very good, it does stick. Okay, turn it over. Centre it up and stick it down. And that gives you a nice little journaling spot. And then the last thing on that is to put the eyelets on. So I've cut them out of the rainforest paper for this tag. That's one. Turn it over. And then this one just sits over the top of the card and the hole. 2. So that's the tag that's going to go in our pocket. I've still got some leaves here that I said we were going to stick somewhere else, and that's where they go. So let's just stick those down. I just put them just so they sit at the top of that envelope flap when it's folded over. So let's stick those down. Make sure the glue goes right to the edge. And stick so they come to the edge of the paper. So. Right. What have we got left to do? Right, we're going to do the book next, the little book, so I'm just going to leave that to dry. Move it over here. So for the book, we need, I've not cut the card out, we need another card. But I haven't got one in my pile. So let me go and find one and I'll be back. Just going to trim it down and just take about 1/4 of an inch off each side, and then I'm just going to recut those corners with my corner trimmer. and then I'm just going to re-ink it. Let's just move that out of the way. Okay, so let's stick it all together. Let's put the photo mats on first, on the inside, to make sure it's folding the right way. I didn't put any detail over these photo mats, but you can have some fuzzy cutting, which looks really good. There's lots to cut out on this paper. So stick number 1 down. And stick number 2 down. Don't forget the squiggle in the middle. Get the glue off my finger, turn it over, stick it down. And then, for the front, you need your piece of Tiki Voyager paper. I'm going to round those bottom corners. I've ticket cut the top ones, although this was only really a little photo mat. And we're going to stick the card over the top. So, stick it down. Squidge that glue to the edges. Turn it over, and then just position it from the bottom about 1/4 of an inch up. Stick it down. And then the card just went at an angle over the top of that. So stick that one on. And that just sat up near the top, like that. And then I'd cut out the relaxation sticker from the sticker sheet, inked the edges, oops, and just put some foam tape on the back. So I'm just going to peel that backing tape off. It's much easier on the foam tape, I can do that. Make sure it's the right way up, and then I'm just going to stick it over where the card joins the paper underneath, just to finish off that little book. And then that fits inside our page. Let's just lift the flap up at the back. So all we've got to do now is the really complicated tag. I can't believe I thought this up, but I did. So, the threaded tag. So let's get the pieces ready for that. So you need your Island Jewel paper and your Travelogue ticket, your luggage label and the strip, the craft coloured strip with its border on, and little journaling spot, flowers that we've cut out, and was I going to put anything else? Yes, I've stuck the sticker on already. So first of all we're going to cut the slot for this to thread through. Let's show you there what I did. Oh, let's take the paper clip off. That's only there to hold all the bits that I cut out together. Right, this is going to sit through the tag at an angle, So I lined it up so that the cut, and I've cut, you can see, 2 slits in this tag, and I did that by lining the paper up at an angle that I wanted, and then I just put 2 pencil marks, let's just grab the pencil, either side there, so that I knew where I got to cut to, and then I put the tag across like that and just drew a line to each pencil mark at the top, and I lined the line up with the top of the T and the line, the first line of the journaling spot on the paper, and then I did the same underneath. So I kept that angle the same, and then with my craft knife I just cut those lines very carefully, and then that piece threads through like that, and we need to stick it down. So let's just lift that flap up and just squirt a little bit of glue underneath, and then I'm just going to put my finger in, spread it across, and stick the tag at an angle like that. So that's attached to that piece. I don't think I've inked that edge. Let me just ink that. I love this paper. I think these flowers are absolutely gorgeous and great fun to cut out. I really like cutting them out. Okay, so that's the first stage. Then turn it over. Turn it over, and then you just want to stick these corners down just with a tiny little bit of glue. That one there, and that one there, and then over that I've got the destination. No, it does fit actually. It's the luggage label that fits over the top of that, and the luggage label has got a slit in it. I've cut that out, and to cut that out just fold the label in half, whichever way you want, and then just cut into it and then cut that little bit off, and that gives you your slot. And then we've got our craft strip, that just fits through like that. So let's just stick that down. So I've put the border on there already, a little bit of glue just to hold that down, and I've put the Our Travels sticker on there, and I've got some flowers to go on as well, so I'm going to put the flower on here before I put the craft strip through. Make sure the glue goes right to the edge, because this is going to be slotted into something and you don't want the edges to curl up. So I'm sticking the flower on the label. And then I'm going to thread this strip through the slot that we've cut in the tag, and then just stick it down over the flower so that it stops at the edge of the tag there. So a bit of glue on the back, just smooth it off, and stick it down. And then trim this end bit off so that you can't see it. So that is the piece that then fits over here to finish off that tag. You can stick as many flowers on as you like, and then we're going to stick this tag down. Over the back there. Like that. And then to finish it off, we're just going to put the little cream mat at the bottom. I'm just going to slot that under there so it fits on. And that's it. Little tag. And that's all ready to slot into a pocket on a page. Let's put it that way. Lift up. Like that. And then if you want to add another ticket just underneath that label, slot one in. I've also cut out the Island Adventure sticker, and I was just going to put it on that label there. And that, everybody, is that page finished. Actually, I'm working on the wrong page, aren't I? This one is the finished one from my original book. Let's take those out. I know that because the eyelets are done. I don't want to get confused. So let's just put everything in the page that we've just made. Put that down there. Lift that up. Poke it under there. That goes down. Tag goes. Should go in there. With that one, and then a destination label goes in there, and that I was just, I'll stick it the right way up, I'm just going to line that up there actually, and that finishes off the page. So all you need to do then is to put your black eyelets on, which we'll do now. And then we're ready to work on the back of this page before putting the glossy accents on. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you've got any questions as you go through your book, just email me, and I will get to reply as quickly as I can. Sticking. That's it. Right, eyelets are on. And I'll be back with the next page in the next video.